Comedy legend Andy Kaufman once said there is no drama like wrestling, and professional wrestling has also been described as the greatest form of live-action theater. So today we're going to be breaking down why those two statements are 100% true. As a channel that's run by an actor who started in pro wrestling, it only makes sense that we highlight this topic. So to begin, let's answer a couple of very simple questions. What is pro wrestling? In the simplest of terms, at its core, pro wrestling is storytelling. Now, if we're comparing pro wrestling to acting, then we now have to ask, well, what do actors do? And what we do is tell stories through performance and film, the two very same mediums that are used by professional wrestling. You see, there's this unspoken synergy between the two art forms that make them two sides of the very same coin. David Batista, John Cena, and especially Dwayne Johnson are just some of the few who have been able to have massive success in both industries. Let's take a quick look at this clip from an interview with Anthony Mackie as he praises Samoa Joe for his work as Sweet Tooth in Twisted Metal.
It's a testament to Samoa Joe. Like, I was blown away by this dude from the first moment he stepped on set.
Wow.
I mean, first of all, he's a larger-than-life human being.
Yeah.
But he was doing everything with that mask on. He was saying, he was acting his ass off. It was amazing because he and Will worked out this idea of what the character was going to be, and he was just doing some circus type performing. Because it was all body work.
Right, it was all body work.
So it was literally like he was doing vaudevilles type shtick, knowing that he was going to be voiced over, but he knew all the lines, he hit all the jokes, he hit everything, and in a way that I don't think, this is his first time acting, I don't think a veteran actor could have done what he did.
Wait, hold on, this is his first time acting?
Yeah, because he had...
One of the hardest assignments any actor could have.
Crazy. And we thought, when we first met about it, we thought he was just going to come in and, Will would record the lines and then he would do the movements and I would react to that.
Right.
That's when it evolved into this thing of him being like, yeah, I can do it. And when the first day he stepped on set, bro, I was like, that's Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a heavy-handed mother, but he owned it, dude. He really, really owned it. And it was just something that was really surprising just because I didn't expect that of him.
Right.
So it took some getting used to.
Right.
But the first day we shot Sweet Tooth, it clicked.
I don't believe a veteran actor could have done what Joe did. What incredible praise to receive from such a revered actor in the industry. Now, what I enjoyed even more than the praise was their reaction to quote-unquote Joe's first time acting. Now, this may have been Joe's first major role at such a high level of the industry, but this was not his first time acting. You see, Joe's first major role is 100% Samoa Joe.
Christian elbow up, off the middle. Joe just walks away and said, catch me another day, brother. Unbelievable.
Workers, performers, wrestlers, superstars, whatever you want to call these incredibly creative athletes, at the end of the day, they are actors. Their job is to take a character, or to stay industry specific, a gimmick, and bring it to a level that the audience becomes so captivated, so connected that they are vested on an emotional level. This is no different than when an actor wins an award for absolutely crushing a role for a character they were given. Now, another thing I really enjoyed about the interview was Mackie's wording of circus-type performance and vaudeville-type shit. Now, as far as circus goes, another word for that could be carnival or carny, which are directly related to the roots of pro wrestling. As for vaudeville-type shit, vaudeville is described as a theatrical piece frequently combining pantomime, dialogue, dancing, and song. Songs could easily be the entrance themes. Dialogue? Well, that's our promos. Pantomiming, that's an exaggerated theatrical performance, which is exactly what pro wrestling is. And as far as dancing goes,
in our sport, in a man
sport, he turned his back on his own men. That's what he got back.
Shibata, he's just taking it.
It sure sounds like pro wrestling to me. I mean, the only word that Mackie was missing there was kayfabe, which, if you don't know, is the appearance of seeming real. Joe was also praised for doing what was known as all-body work, which in professional wrestling could easily be described as in-ring performance, which is using your body to tell the story. Now, we see this in just about every avenue of professional wrestling, but what Joe was doing under the mask of Sweet Tooth was ultimately lucha libre work. In lucha libre, these workers are under a mask, nobody can see their face, you can't use facial expressions or emotions, so you have to find other ways of using your body to convey the character to the crowd, which Joe did in spades.
She had dumps like a truck.
With all the similarities between the two art forms, it genuinely makes me sad that pro wrestling is not as revered as my own career as an actor. Even though I can say from first-hand experience, pro wrestling, a far more grueling grind just based on the non-stop physicality. If you ask me, I think pro wrestling should be included in award nominations, no different than any other television show or film. And I could go on and on about this, but ultimately, there's nothing I could say on the topic that the wise man hasn't said already.
It has to happen. I am so sick of it now that the entire television industry has come out of COVID, and Roman Reigns did not miss a single week of television when every other production was shut down. Took this company from the COVID era to where it is, to a multi-billion-dollar, to a merger, to now that we're on Netflix. There is no more excuse. Roman Reigns deserves an Emmy. And, you know, I'll throw myself into that too. The wise man deserves an Emmy too. And while we're at it, Paul Levesque deserves an Emmy. WWE deserves an Emmy. But it all starts with the acknowledgement of who is the most captivating, who is the most riveting, who is the most compelling character on television today. And it has been the same way for the past 5 years.
Now, as for me and my time in pro wrestling, I did not want to make this video about me, but if that's something that interests you, just let me know in the comments, and we'll save that for another video. But to end this video, let's finish off with a fun question for y'all to debate. Out of the 3 biggest names I mentioned earlier, who do you believe has the most genuine, raw talent for acting? Is it John? Is it David? Or is it Dwayne? Can't wait to read what y'all have to say in the comments, but until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon.